We've done the top 5 most underrated players, and now it's time for the top 5 most overrated players from the Scottish Premiership in FIFA 22. Welcome back, guys, to Son of Scotland 90 for another video today. I've been looking through these ratings, and some of them I just don't understand. Like, I know EA, they never get the ratings right, but I mean, when you're a big fan of Scottish football and that is your league, then you look at the league ratings. It's like maybe La Liga and all that other stuff, those foreign leagues. Some of the ratings don't look absurd, and maybe to people that don't really watch Scottish football, some of these ratings look okay, but to me, like, it's weird when you see a guy get rated like mid-60s and you think he should be well into the 70s, and then sometimes, like in today's vid, you get guys that are rated in the 70s and you're thinking, how the hell have they done that? What have these people justified? What have they done to justify, you know, getting that sort of rating? So we're here today to talk about the most overrated players. Now, like last time, it's going to be the top 5, but I will have an honourable mention for a few players. And the first one of those players is Joe Lewis. Coming in at a 70 overall, I think that is too high for him, man. Last couple of seasons, he has been dodgy. Now, a couple of years ago, FIFA 20, FIFA 19, I would have said Joe Lewis probably deserves more than a 70, but the last 2 seasons specifically, he has been really poor. I mean, poor to the extent where I think Aberdeen need a new goalkeeper. He makes a lot of errors. He's not as good as a shot stopper as he used to be, and I think he is on the decline, and I just don't think he should be a 70 overall anymore. That 70 overall puts him, I believe he is the joint 4th best goalkeeper due to that rating in the Scottish Premiership, and I'm telling you right now, Joe Lewis is not the 4th best Premiership goalkeeper in real life. The other honourable mention I've got is Lee Griffiths, also coming in at a 70 rating. Look, I get it, the guy scored 2 free kicks against England, right? Absolute legend for that. When he's on top form, when he's at his best, I would say Lee Griffiths does deserve probably about a 75, 76. Maybe 77 at his absolute peak, at his best, but he is nowhere near that now, and he hasn't shown his best for a number of years, a considerable amount of years. We're not talking like 1.5 seasons. This guy probably hasn't been good in reality. He hasn't been anywhere near his best for at least like 3 years now, and that's probably been kind. Will the guy ever find his best? Who knows? He's currently out at Dundee. I can guarantee you, though, the only reason he's got a 70 overall is because he's on loan at Dundee. Had he probably transferred to Dundee, his rating would have been about 66. But, yeah, I mean, I just don't think this guy deserves a 70 rating, especially based on his last couple of seasons. If we're being honest, probably should be in the mid-60s. Right, moving on then to number 5. We're going with new Celtic signing, and by the way, there's quite a lot of Celtic players on this top 5 list. But we're going with new Celtic signing, James McCarthy. He's come in at a 74 overall. From what we've seen so far, and let's be real, it's been very little, but from what we've seen so far, this guy looks absolutely done. I'm going to go out and say now, going to hold my hands up and say I think this guy will be a failure at Celtic. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't think he's going to have a good Celtic career. He's getting that 74 rating just solely based on the fact that he came from the Premier League. You know, he's had a career in the Premier League, and that is the only reason why he's 74. I don't think the guy's cut out for the Scottish Premiership game. I think he's going to be an absolute failure, you know, just like Joey Barton was at Rangers. This guy's probably coming to Celtic thinking he's going to change the league around and he's going to be what gets Celtic back to the top of the Premiership. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I think McCarthy is at least a couple of ratings higher than he should be here. No way should this guy be a 74. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I said, we haven't seen much of him at Celtic, so maybe he will prove me wrong, but at the moment he's definitely too highly rated, man. There's no way he should be 74. Definitely deserves to be bumped down. In my opinion, maybe like a 71 or 70, but 74, way too high. Another player I'm not impressed with is coming in at number 4. We've got Fashion Sakala at Rangers side. He was supposed to be the Morelos replacement, and man, this guy couldn't even lace Fat Morelos' boots, never mind, you know, prime, top of his game Morelos. Anytime I've seen Fashion Sakala, he has not been impressive. Every time the ball is passed him, he's in an offside position as well. He's got about a million times more offsides than he does goals. I mean, he could still be good. Like I said, it's just the start of the season. It is hard to judge, but when he's coming in with a 73 overall, I try and like compare to other ratings. And when Fashion Sakala is the same rating as Kyogo Furuhashi, both have had the same amount of time. I mean, Fashion Sakala's actually been settled in longer since I'm sure he played his first Rangers game a few weeks before Kyogo played his first Celtic game. I think I'm right in saying that. And I mean, come on, Kyogo's taken to the league like he's been quality. Arguably, he's been the best player in the Scottish Premiership, not just for Celtic. Overall, arguably, Kyogo's been the best player, yet Fashion Sakala nowhere near. I mean, can barely get a start. He's not as good as Morelos, he's not as good as Kamara Roof, and he's definitely not as good as Kyogo. His potential is a 78, man, that's way too high. I mean, like, the guy could prove me wrong, but from what I've seen at the moment, definitely not a 73 player in comparison to other strikers. I mean, this guy's 2 ratings higher than Kevin Nisbet, and for me, I mean, if I was selecting a team and you offered me the chance to take Fashion Sakala and Kevin Nisbet, I'd be taking Kevin Nisbet all day long. Coming in at number 3, it's another striker. This guy's had a chance over a year now at Celtic. He's not good enough. 71 overall. This guy is pants. Don't think he's good enough for like a bottom side in the Scottish Premiership. Never mind a side that wanted to be competing for the title and doing well in Europe. Albion Ajeti, you've had your opportunity. You've been absolutely garbage ever since Edouard left. You've kind of been put into the... Edouard left and Kyogo got injured. He's been kind of put into the main striker role, and it's no surprise that Celtic can barely score, with this guy up front. So, yeah, Albion Ajeti, massively overrated. They might have spent, what, 5 million on the guy? It was 5 million. He'd been better off, like, getting £5 million and legit flushing it down the fucking drain, man. Flushing it down the toilet like a big turd, because that's what Albion Ajeti is to me. A big turd. A big 71 rated turd. Way too high. Potential 76. I'm not seeing it. Again, the same rating as Kevin Nisbet. Nah, definitely not for me, man. There's way many better strikers in the Scottish Premiership than this guy. So for me, he is number 2 in this list. Number 3, sorry. Speaking of number 2, we're going with Barkas. Again, another Celtic player, another player that Celtic spent a lot of money on, and he just hasn't delivered. A 72 rating rates him as the 3rd best Scottish Premiership goalkeeper in FIFA 22. How the hell is this guy 6 ratings higher than Sander Clark? Can someone explain that to me, please? 6 ratings higher than Sander Clark. When the game originally came out, 5 ratings higher than Craig Gordon. It just doesn't make any sense, man. Doesn't make any sense to me. He's even rated higher than John McLaughlin. I mean, come on, John McLaughlin's a far better, number 2 than this guy. This guy's a legit number 2, like a third number 2, the same as Ajeti. Flush them both at the same time. I wouldn't waste a second flush. Get this guy down the drain. 72 overall, way too high. Way too high. Again, I think it's partly because they spent a bit of money on him. That's why they have to give them a sort of high rate. And I guess a team can't really go and spend big money on a player and FIFA rates them like shit. I don't know. I'm assuming that's why. But to me, this guy has no Celtic career left. I think he'll be gone. Same with Albion Ajeti. I'll be surprised if they're here next year. But yeah, 72 overall. Way too high for Barkas, in my honest opinion. And last but not least, coming in at number 1, it is Scott Brown, the 36-year-old Scott Brown, the guy that is, I'm going to say, single-handedly ruining Aberdeen. It's no surprise to me, since this guy left Celtic and went to Aberdeen. Aberdeen have been fucking shite. Way past his best. Absolutely way past his best. And if we're being honest, he wasn't even that good. As a player, he wasn't that good. Now, I kind of like Scott Brown as a person. He seems alright as a character. You know what? He seems alright. And it was always cool. You're getting like the Old Firm games, or you're watching a big Celtic game, and you've got Scott Brown in the park. It was the name, he was like a Roy Keane without the talent, without obviously I wouldn't say he had as much aggression as Roy Keane, but he was basically like a Roy Keane, but without the ability aspect of the game. And the guy just now, I don't know how he still justifies a 71 overall. I mean, that is absolutely way too high for him. There's so many, young players in this game, in the Scottish Premiership, that have like mid-60 ratings in the Premier League. I mean, come on, how can Lewis Ferguson be the same rating as Scott Brown? It just doesn't make any sense to me, guys. It makes no sense, Scott Brown, same rating as still like Kevin Nisbet. He's a higher rating than what Martin Boyle. A higher rating than, trying to think of Hibs players, Jamie Murphy. I mean, come on, at this stage of your career, you would definitely, you wouldn't want Scott Brown in your team, right? We're being honest. You don't want Scott Brown in your team. May he have leadership skills? Absolutely, he does, right? And if he was still capable of playing at a decent level, he would be a good captain, but he's not. I mean, I think it's been about 5 years since the guy played a forward pass. I mean, other than that, it's sideward passes and long balls into the stands are way after target. So Scott Brown, 71 overall, way too high. Apparently he can even play centre back in this game and he still gets a 71 overall. Jesus Christ, could you imagine that? No, I'm not shitting on Scott Brown. I thought he was a decent player, you know. He probably did deserve his move to Celtic. It was good for Hibs. He went to Celtic. He had a few good seasons at Celtic. I mean, he had a great success at Celtic. You can't really fault the guy's career. But yeah, I mean, as a quality player, for me, I mean, he's not up there. He's never going to be, you think of the best Old Firm sides, he would never, based on quality, you know, based on ability, you would never put Scott Brown into a Celtic team or a Rangers team or anything like that. And his time's up. He's the last couple of years, he's been way past his best. Probably, we haven't seen the best of Scott Brown. Maybe the last time I think Scott Brown played at a decent level was probably the 2018 to 19 season. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Even since then, I think he's pretty much been a passenger in the Celtic team, and now he's in Aberdeen, and look at their form, look where they are, and it kind of sums everything up. But anyway, guys, that is it. That's my top 5 most overrated players on the FIFA 22 in the Scottish Premiership. Let me know what you think down below. Do you agree with this list? Is there any changes you would have made? And what do you think of the ratings? That's it. Till next time, there'll be more career mode parts coming soon, and I might do more top 5 vids. I might cover the top 5 fastest players, the top 5... I don't know, players with the best finishing, stuff like that. Who knows? We might do more of these top 5 lists. If you want to see more top 5 lists like this, let me know in the comments down below. But until then, been Scotland 98. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.